Moose Ridge was a tranquil place, known for its towering trees, pristine lakes, and of course the moose that roamed its expanse. Among these majestic creatures was a particular moose named Maurice. Maurice was different. He was larger and quieter than the others, often found alone by the lakeside or deep within the forest. The other animals admired Maurice for his strength, but never quite understood him. Maurice had a secret. Beneath his rugged exterior and quiet demeanor, he harbored a hidden talent. Maurice could play the harmonica. He had found the instrument abandoned by a camper long ago and had taught himself to play it by ear. The melodies he created were hauntingly beautiful, echoing through the trees at night, but only the stars and the moon were witness to his gift. One night, as Maurice played a soft tune by the lake, a small rabbit named Hope stumbled upon him. She had been separated from her family and was drawn to the soothing music. Hope, with her big, curious eyes and timid nature, sat quietly, listening until Maurice finished his song. "That was beautiful," Hope whispered. Maurice, startled, turned to see the little rabbit. "Thank you," he said softly. "It's something I do when I'm alone. Do you know where I might find my family?" Hope asked, her voice trembling with worry. Maurice looked at her kindly. "I'll help you find them, but for now, let's rest. You can stay with me tonight." And so, Maurice and Hope formed an unlikely bond, one rooted in music and compassion. The next morning, Maurice and Hope set out to find Hope's family. Maurice used his vast knowledge of the forest to navigate, and Hope, despite her small size, kept up with him, her heart buoyed by his kindness. As they traveled, Hope asked Maurice about his harmonica playing. "Why don't you play for everyone? The music is so beautiful." Maurice hesitated. "I'm not sure they'd understand. It's just something I do for myself." Hope pondered this. "But music is meant to be shared. Maybe they'd like it." Maurice smiled but didn't respond. The idea of sharing his secret talent was daunting. He had always been the quiet giant, the one who observed rather than participated. Their journey took them through dense forests, across babbling brooks, and up rocky hills. Along the way, they met other animals who had heard of Hope's family and offered guidance. A wise old owl directed them toward a meadow where many rabbits lived, and a friendly deer provided them with berries and nuts for sustenance. Through it all, Maurice played his harmonica each night, and Hope listened, finding solace in the music. Her hope grew with each note, her spirit uplifted by the melodies. As days turned into weeks, Maurice and Hope found themselves in a lush meadow. The sight was breathtaking, with wildflowers of every color and butterflies dancing in the air. This was the place the old owl had described, a haven for rabbits. Hope's excitement was palpable. "This must be it. My family must be here," she exclaimed, hopping with joy. Maurice watched her with a mixture of happiness and apprehension. He had grown fond of the little rabbit and worried about what would happen once she was reunited with her family. They searched the meadow, calling out for Hope's family. The sun was beginning to set when they heard a familiar voice. "Hope, is that you?" A group of rabbits emerged from the tall grass, and Hope ran to them, her heart leaping with joy. Maurice watched from a distance, a bittersweet smile on his face. He was happy for Hope, but knew their journey together was coming to an end. That night, as the rabbits celebrated Hope's return, Maurice played his harmonica one last time. The meadow fell silent, captivated by the music. The rabbits, along with other animals who had gathered, listened in awe. It was a moment of pure magic, the melodies weaving a tapestry of emotions that resonated with everyone present. When the music ended, there was a stunned silence, followed by a wave of applause. Maurice had shared his hidden talent, and the reaction was overwhelming. He realized that Hope was right. Music was meant to be shared. The days that followed were filled with joy and celebration. Hope was reunited with her family, and Maurice found himself embraced by the community. He played his harmonica every night, bringing happiness and unity to the meadow. One evening, as Maurice played a particularly uplifting tune, a fox named Felix appeared at the edge of the meadow. Felix was known for his cunning and mischief, but tonight he seemed different. Drawn by the music, he sat quietly and listened. After the performance, Felix approached Maurice. "That was incredible," he said. "I've never heard anything like it." Maurice, though wary of the fox, nodded in acknowledgement. "Thank you." Felix hesitated before speaking again. I have a proposition. There's a festival in the neighboring forest, and they have a music competition. I think you should enter. Your talent deserves to be heard by more than just us. The idea intrigued Maurice, but he was unsure. I'm not sure I'm ready for something like that. Hope, who had been listening, chimed in. You should do it, Maurice. You have a gift, and it could bring even more happiness to others. After much contemplation, Maurice agreed. The journey to the neighboring forest would be long and filled with challenges, but he had come to trust his friends and their belief in him. The journey to the festival was arduous. Maurice, Hope, and Felix traveled together, each bringing their unique strengths to the group. They crossed rivers, navigated dense woods, and climbed steep hills. Along the way, they encountered obstacles that tested their resolve, but their determination never wavered. As they approached the festival grounds, Maurice felt a mix of excitement and anxiety. The crowd was large, and the stage was daunting. He had never played for so many before. The night of the competition arrived, and Maurice found himself backstage, his heart pounding in his chest. Hope and Felix stood by his side, offering words of encouragement. You've got this, Maurice, Hope said with a reassuring smile. Taking a deep breath, Maurice stepped onto the stage. The spotlight blinded him momentarily, but as his eyes adjusted, he saw the faces of the audience staring back at him, eager for the performance to begin. Closing his eyes, Maurice brought the harmonica to his lips and began to play. The first notes were soft and tentative, but as he settled into the rhythm, his confidence grew. He poured his heart and soul into the music, letting the melodies flow freely from within. The harmonica's notes danced through the air, weaving a tapestry of sound that captivated the audience. Each melody told a story, evoking emotions that ranged from joy to longing to hope. Maurice lost himself in the music, his worries melting away as he surrendered to the enchanting spell he was casting. As the final notes lingered in the air, Maurice opened his eyes to find the audience on their feet, applauding wildly. Tears welled in his eyes as he took in the scene before him. He had done it. He had shared his hidden talent with the world, and the response was overwhelming. Hope and Felix rushed onto the stage, embracing Maurice in a tight hug. You were amazing, Hope exclaimed, her eyes shining with pride. Felix nodded in agreement. I knew you had it in you, Maurice. Your music touched everyone's hearts. Overwhelmed with emotion, Maurice could only nod, his heart overflowing with gratitude. In that moment, he realized that music wasn't just about playing notes. It was about connecting with others, sharing a piece of yourself, and spreading hope and joy. As the festival came to an end and the crowd dispersed, Maurice, Hope, and Felix returned to Moose Ridge, their spirits soaring. Maurice continued to play his harmonica, not just for himself, but for everyone who crossed his path. His music became a symbol of hope, a reminder that even the quietest among us have something beautiful to share. And so the hidden melody of Moose Ridge became a legend, carried on the wind and whispered through the trees, a story of a quiet giant who found his voice and shared it with the world.